Oh, here you are. You okay? Okay.
That's
Come have a seat.
one of my old friends that I've seen for many, many years.
All right. So we're going to learn Reb Nachman. So when we learn the Torah a little bit, then we'll learn some read from the story. He said like this. Says Reb Nachman. One of the challenges that we have is to lishmor the zikaron. He says to guard the memory, our remembrance. And he gives one way of doing that. He says is right when you wake up in the morning, you sort of remember what life's about. You remember what you're doing here. Sort of this fresh coming into the world in a proper consciousness. And one of our challenges is that we even though sometimes we get like what I'm doing, or what life's about, very often I forget it. It's called falling from consciousness. Nachman describes that as one of the biggest challenges in our life. Is maintaining our head in the right place. There was one righteous person who would never take naps during the day, because he says, every day I'm trying to like get myself together, get myself my head in the right place. If I take a nap, I'll start all over again. So like that's but
What book is this?
This is the Kutin Maran. So this is a very long piece. I don't want to go through the whole thing. But Nachman's Torahs are very mysterious. So I'm just going to say a couple things he says. We're not necessarily going to understand everything he says, but I'll mention it anyways. And he says, what's one of the things which causes us to forget? He says, Koach HaMedameh. Koach HaMedameh means the imagination. That our power, our faculty of imagination can be a problem, he says. We get mixed up. We start imagining things about ourselves, imagining things about the world, and losing our clarity of focus. And that's one of the things we know that can trip us up. And he says, so how do we deal with that? So says Reb Nachman, we have to. The work is clarifying good from bad, or in other words, clarifying happiness from sadness. Okay, this is all words. But he says, what happens when you play a song? Okay, play music. So music goes up, and music goes down, and it goes up, and it goes down, and it goes up, and it goes down, and like it plays happy notes and sad notes. It goes back and forth. And in order for it to be a good music, is that you have it in the right balance, and you sort of build it in a way, build the ups and the downs in a way that comes out harmonious. He says that's music, and he says that's the same thing we need to do with ourselves. Our life is full of ups and downs and all types of changes that we have. We have happiness inside and sadness inside, and in order for us to create music with our lives, we sort of have to make some sort of clarity. Say, okay, this is important. This is something good about myself. I'm sad about this, but I'm happy about this. Sort of coming to a place of clarity instead of this blur that we usually live in. And that connects to what the Reb Nachman's most famous practice of his Hitbodedut. Reb Nachman told us Chassidim, he says, I want to teach you a new path, which is really a very, very old path, which is the path of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, which is, besides for the prayer of the Siddur, There's another type of prayer which is totally personal, of a person just talking about what's going on with him and the things that he's dealing with, and, speaking everything out. And Nachman really, really pushed his students to do this. They go out to the forest and start talking about what's bothering you and what do you want and what are you thankful for, and just keep on being very verbal. And
Talking to God?
yeah, talking to God. Yeah, talking to God. It's really talking to God and talking to yourself. It's both, and over here he's sort of explaining why it's so important to be verbal, because he's saying this. You have a lot of stuff inside. We have happiness, we have sadness, we have good points, we have bad points, and in order for us to be awake in our mind, the place we want it to be, we have to do some sort of clarification about what's going on inside. And one way of doing that is to talking about it, saying, okay, this is bothering me, and this is what I want. This and then also through the process of speaking it out, we might be able to come to.
Sometimes, when you talk like that, sometimes you may say something that is wrong, and then you don't want to be worse than before.
Yeah, I hear you saying. Yeah, no, I hear you saying. I mean, sometimes when we talk too much, we say the wrong thing.
Exactly.
I hear you saying.
Stop the dialogue,
Yeah, but on the other hand, sometimes I think even when we say the wrong thing, that can also help us, because they can say, "Oh, I see there was something inside that was really bothering me," and now you can say, "Okay, I would like to get over that."
For example, one time I was talking to a counselor,
Yeah.
And then I was telling her that I was talking to her. I was telling her I was talking in my mind about different things.
Yeah.
And then she said, "Stop the dialogue. You cannot, that is not going to help you." So then, I always do that. I always talk to myself, always.
Yeah.
But she said, don't do it too much.
No, here you're saying it's a good point. I mean, I think it ties on what he's saying, because he's not saying talking totally free. He's saying talking with both the element of clarification. Meaning, I'm with my mind. I'm looking at what's going on over here.
Talking with a direction.
With direction and with looking at what you're saying. Meaning, it's like I paint a picture and I look at it. So what's this? Like anything, I talk and I say, okay, what is this? What am I saying?
Yes.
What am I to do with
Something
it?
like
It's conscious. Your consciousness is involved. But it's an interplay between our consciousness and all the stuff we have inside. So we can't go too much to either one. Okay, so this is a real long Torah. If you want to see it inside, you can take a look. But really, we wanted to play this Torah as an introduction to one of the stories that Nachman told, as allegorical story. Well, it's pretty long. I don't think we'll be able to finish it today, but I want to start reading it and see if we could give it an interpretation, maybe based on this Torah. So let's see the story. Okay, the story goes like this. The name of the story is the son of the king and the son of the maid that were switched. Okay, it's a classic motif in old stories about switching babies, right? So it says like this. He says one time there was a king whose wife was giving birth at the same time that the maid in the house was giving birth, and the midwife switched the children just because she wanted to see what would happen. And the kids grew up. They grew up together, the two boys, and eventually the midwife couldn't hold herself in, and she started talking about it. And the word got out that the prince is not really the prince, and that was like a very juicy piece of gossip in the kingdom. Now it was just gossip, so no one really knew what the truth was. So they couldn't change it back. They couldn't say, okay, put the prince back. But it made the king nervous. And eventually, eventually the prince, I mean the person who was assumed to be the prince, took over the kingdom. His father died, and he became the king. And he was always feeling threatened by the presence of the other person who was the real prince. And since he kept feeling threatened by the guy, so he said, okay, you have to leave. Gave him some money and said, leave this kingdom. I don't want you here. And he chased him away. And then after this, any time the king heard people talking about this conspiracy that maybe he's not really a king, he would punish people. He was very strong about holding on to his kingdom. And every once in a while, this king would feel bad about what he did, but then he would forget about it again. And in the meantime, the kid who was sent away got very depressed. He said, "It's not fair. It's not fair that they're sending me away. If I'm really supposed to be the king, so I should be the king. And if I'm not, so what did I do wrong? Either way, I don't deserve this." And he started, feeling bad for himself, and it says he started drinking wine and started going to prostitutes and living a depressed type of a life. And every once in a while also he started feeling bad about living that way. He said, okay, I should get myself together. But then again he would fall back into the drinking and all that. And then one time he was sleeping and he dreamt that he should go to a certain fair in a certain market and find work whichever work he can find, and that way start putting himself together. And then he started at the beginning. He started taking the dream seriously. Then he said, "Okay, I'll go drink again." And then it happened again. Again, he gets this dream, and finally he said, "Okay, I got to do it." So he gets up. He travels to this market, and he's looking for work over there. And he finds a merchant who has animals, a whole bunch of animals. And the merchant asks him to watch his animals for him. Okay. So she says, I don't really have experience of watching animals, but he says, just listen to watch what they're doing, and you'll know what to do. And then he said, okay. He said, but once you start doing it, you can't go back. Once you accept the job, you got to do it. He said, okay. So he goes. He starts leading the animals, and then this merchant starts acting very cruel to this worker and starts beating him if he doesn't work properly. And then they're walking into the forest together with this merchant, and two animals start running off. And the merchant starts screaming and go catch the animals, and so he starts running into the forest, and the forest is getting thicker and thicker and more harder to see, and and he can't catch the animals, and he's so afraid of the merchant who he's working for. Shalom. No, he didn't come. That he says, you know what? I can't go back. If I go back without the animals, they'll kill me. Best thing, I'll just stay here in the forest. And then, he keeps on going more in the direction where the animals went, and then it becomes dark. Okay, it becomes night, and he starts hearing the voices of wild animals all over the place. It's very frightening. And he goes up on a tree, he sleeps on top of the tree, and then in the morning he wakes up and he sees the animal he's looking for under the tree. So he goes down the tree, and again the animals start running away. And he starts taking him more deeper into the forest, and he starts hearing these wild animals. And the animals are it's so deep in the forest, the animals are not even afraid of people. They never have seen people, and they're really, really fearsome. And And then all of a sudden he meets another person in the middle of the forest, and he says, who are you? And they both ask each other what their story is. Basically, it's another person also was running after his horse, and ended up in this forest. So they said, okay, so let's stick together. We'll help each other and meet, and we'll try to get out of this forest, and we'll be together after we get out of the forest. Also, we'll help each other out. And they're sleeping the next night, and they hear all these the voices of these wild animals, shouting and screaming, and in the morning they start hearing this great laugh. Also, it starts hearing a big laughter, tremendous sound of laughter. That the whole forest is filled with this voice of laughter, and all the trees are shaking from this laughter, and the guy gets very, very scared. And the other guy, the guy who was looking after his horse, said, "Oh, don't worry, this happens every night. Every night, this is right before the morning. There's this tremendous laughter, and I don't know what it is, but it's always like this." And then he says, the guy says to their friend, "Must be this is the dwelling place of like all these demonic creatures, because in regular forests you don't have laughter in the middle of the forest." Then all of a sudden they start seeing the animals. They start running in the opposite directions. One animal goes that way, and then they get separated. And while they get separated, this guy with the animals finds a bag with bread. Okay, and afterwards he meets somebody else. Okay, also he sees another person. And the guy says, "What are you doing here?" He says, "Oh, I'm running after my animals." The other guy says, I grew up here, and my parents grew up here, and my grandparents." And the guy understands that this is not a human being, it's some sort of creature. And he says, "Stop running after the animals. Okay? You don't stop running after your sins." That's what the guy said. He said, it's like saying you're running after the animals, you're really running after your own sins. He said, "You've done enough. You don't have to run after them anymore. And now come with me." And he's walking with this guy. He's really frightened from this guy. And then they meet the other guy again. The guy was running after the horse. The guy comes back, and he sees that he's carrying bread. He says, "Come on, can you give me some of your bread?" He says, "No, listen, I found bread. As my life comes first, I don't want to die." And then finally the guy says, "Listen, I'll sell myself as a slave to you for the bread." So he says, "Okay." And all three of them are walking, and they're walking with this demon guy, and then this demon says, "Oh, look, I have my house is up there in the air." And he said, "I'll magically take you into this house," and bring him to the house. And then the guy who's been bought as a slave starts crying and groaning. He says, "What did I do to myself? I sold myself as a slave. I came from such greatness." And so the guy said, "What greatness do you come from?" So it turns out that this guy is really the king, the prince who was switched with him. And he also somehow made it into the forest. And then again, they're hanging out with this demon guy, and they hear the laughter again. Okay, and he says, "What's this laughter about?" They ask the guy. So he says, "You know what the laughter is? The laughter is the day is laughing at the night." Because every morning, as the night was leaving and the morning was coming, so the night says, "Why is it that when you come, I become into nothing?" And then the day laughs. That's that's the story. And then they're eating there and sleeping at this place, And then they start hearing the animals again, the animals shouting and screaming. And till now, because they were so afraid of the animals, they weren't really listening to the animals. But now they started listening, and they noticed that it's a song. Animals are singing this amazing song together. Okay, and he asks this guy, what are the animals doing? And he says, the animals are singing a song to the moon. Okay, because particularly the nocturnal animals, they owe a lot to the moon. The moon gives them light at night. They feel very appreciative of the moon, and they're making a new song for the moon. And then he says, "Oh, why are you impressed? You shouldn't be impressed by this. I have inherited from my ancestors this special instrument that whenever you put this instrument on any animal starts singing." Okay, and the story continues. I don't want to go through the whole story yet, but I want to maybe think about a little bit what he's told till now. Okay. There's a story about a prince and a son of a maid being mixed together. The son of a maidservant. Right, that's the beginning of the story, right? So that's clearly a story about a person losing his identity. Okay, people forgetting who they are. Okay, similar to what he was talking about in this Torah. This is a situation we're in all the time. We have this sort of a spiritual essence, who we really are, and then through life we lose it. And then that's the hero's journey of what happens, what do we have to go through in order to come back to ourselves, in order to be confident that we are, really the prince. And the story is showing it's not simple. He goes through a lot. In the end of the story, he goes back, gets recognized as the prince. But everything else that happens in the story seems to be expressing what is it you have to go through. And essentially, he describes depression. He describes that people fall because particularly because people have a sense that I should be doing something. I should be connected, and it's not happening. That's the most depressing thing. And that itself can bring people down. It's this ironic thing that because I know I should be succeeding, that's why that thought itself, stops me from doing anything. Gets depressed with that. And then
high expectations.
High expectations, right? The high expectations often is that's what makes things most hard for us.
So you shouldn't expect anything.
Okay, maybe.
So, for example,
Yeah.
you should expect, but I don't know, until you know that you should be doing something.
Yeah.
You are not doing it.
Yeah.
Is that high expectation?
That's a good question. Meaning, on the one hand, we want to be doing the right thing. But on the other hand,
do the right thing.
we don't want to be depressed either. When we're not doing.
How do you know you are depressed?
Yeah.
How do you know?
Yeah.
I think you know.
Yeah, I mean, but what we see in the stories when you don't do it, when our sadness stops us from doing anything, which happens a lot, But in the story, it could be it's portrayed as a stage. Sometimes depression is a stage that people move on from.
It's like a landmark.
Yeah.
You go.
Yeah, you go on.
Next stage.
Exactly right. Meaning sometimes people have to go through a stage of they're not able to do much because they're suffering because of this frustration of not doing what I need to do. But sort of eventually you say, okay, how long can you be depressed? And you say, okay, let's try to move on. I think
depression doesn't take you anywhere.
Yeah, but sometimes it takes people.
It brings you back and back and back and back.
Yeah.
Who's depressed in the story?
The person who is really the prince, and he's been sent away,
Mm-hmm.
and that caused them to be depressed.
How do you know he's depressed?
Well, he says he
Oh,
spent his time with drunkenness and It's a classic, expression of it. And then the next, what happens to him after that? He has a dream that he should go to the market, right? So I think it's also very symbolic. At the beginning of his coming up is going to the market. The market is a place where people buy and sell things. I think for a lot of times when we're still searching for who we are and what we're going to do, we have to go to the market. Market means I say, is there anything that people need me for? Can I help? Just ask, can I help you? Ask people, is there anything the world needs me for? And you try things out. The market, it's not determined like what people should do. You just go and see, do people want to buy eggs? Okay, I'm selling eggs. People need, help taking care of the horses. I'll take care of the horses. Meaning, the mindset of the market good for getting up, because it's not so much it's not based on myself. I can sit myself in a room and say, oh, what's my calling? What should I do? What should I do? And think about that for the rest of my life. And it's sort of in the market. I'm thrust into the give and take of humanity, and through that I start waking up. Which is interesting. I didn't learn this piece in this Torah, but Nachman in this Torah that we learned before also talks about business. How that some people through business they can actually come to waking up. This thing that he was talking about in that Torah about remembering that some people, if you do business in the right way,
business like what, for example?
Like buying and selling. He says in Chazal there's this concept called Masao Matan be'emunah, doing buying and selling with faith, which literally means being with honest.
If you are not, what can you sell? What can you sell? You have to have something to sell.
Yeah.
What can you sell?
What you're asking?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anything.
Anything.
Something you make, something you buy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Resell it.
Yeah, I'm not taking this in the most literal way of actually selling something, but just looking at like that, asking this of other people. What do I have that other people can use, and then now they'll give me something back for it. It's not necessarily in the monetary sense, If I made a
what do I have for other people?
For other people, like to enjoy, yeah. Yeah, I mean, what's something about my personality?
Benefit from.
Yeah.
What do I have so other people can benefit
exactly,
from?
Yeah. That question is a very good question because you're also not in your own cup of whiskey. It's not all. Then the world just became bigger, and then that starts the adventure, and he goes out to work for the merchant watching the animals.
For example, if I write very good resumes,
yeah,
and other people, people want their resume written,
right.
Can I offer that for them?
That's great.
Yes, for example.
Yeah. I think it's.
So you have to charge that? You have to charge. What is this to make money or what? I don't know.
No, here he's not talking about the context of making money. Here he's talking about the context of coming into contact with who I am and waking up and being happy with what I'm doing in the world.
Like to raise your self-esteem.
Yeah, raise your self-esteem, but not only for the purpose of feeling good, but also for the purpose of finding yourself, of like saying, oh, I'm doing something in the world. It's type of like you're saying, waking up instead of just being asleep all the time. Like you see it, sometimes you have very intelligent people, but they don't appreciate it. They don't appreciate what they have until someone asks them a question, and they say, "Oh, I have the answer for that," and then all of a sudden you see them lighting up, and feeling good. Even asking for directions. Sometimes you can see you ask someone for directions, they feel so happy. They're so happy to give directions because they didn't feel they had anything to give, and all of a sudden you ask them for directions, and they're, oh. I have purpose.
So what you are like advising to make cards of what you do and give it to people, or
That's
just
that's
talk
up to
about it?
I mean, that's up for your interpretation about how you want to do this. But I just think this is an interesting little thought about going to the market as the way. That's the way
See, I can make very good pancakes.
oh yeah?
I can go to your house and I can make very pancakes for you,
Or you can make a video
or a video,
how to make pancakes.
or a
You
video
know,
of how to
cooking
make pancakes.
cooking class video.
Okay. Something that will help others
Yeah.
and that will help you eventually.
Yeah. And an interesting thing as far as the story is that the guy he goes to work for is a bad boss. Meaning, not always do we find right away. Meaning, it's a process. Nachman not saying it works right away. It might not work in the beginning. In the beginning, he goes to work for somebody, wants him to watch the animals, and he's acting very cruel towards him. He's beating him, you know. But still, it's still has to be. He'll get beyond that too. So it's a story. Also, it's like this expression of, okay, go to the market, see what happens. If your first couple of tries will probably won't work. Okay. And then another issue over here is he's watching animals. Okay. Later on, we see this he's running after the animals. Right? The animals run into the forest, and he's running after them. And then the guy this mysterious guy he meets in the forest says, "Oh, you don't have to run after the animals anymore. You don't have to run after your sins anymore." So what is that? You know, all of a sudden the story takes this radical change. What is it? You don't have to be running after your sins. Which part of what seems to be saying is that another thing which stops us from coming to who we are is our running after things. Sometimes we're so pressured by something. I have to get this. I have to get this. I have to, and we don't realize that itself, the pressure itself, is often what is the problem. You know, sometimes people think that pressure is good. You know,
like trying to finish something very quickly.
Yeah, fine. Or for instance, or in general, many people, some people are more than others. Some people walk around life with a general feeling of pressure. You know, they feel like pressed to do things, pressed to impress people, or pressed to succeed in something. Pressed, they're just like feel like I'm running after them all the time. And at this point in the story, it seems Nachman seems to be saying, often that is your problem, the pressure itself. You know, and maybe it's like the guy tells them, you know, you're running after your sins, you're running after the animals. Meaning, think about the story. You know, the guy hires him to watch the animals. Right, the animals run into the forest. And he keeps on running after them. There's something very ridiculous about the situation. I mean, the guy doesn't even know how to get back. He's lost in the forest. He doesn't know how to get back, and he keeps on running after the animals as if there's some point to it, right? So Nachman sort of showing this like sliver of life, how we keep on doing these things. We decide in our head something's important, and we just put a lot of energy in, like, oh, I have to get that, And then
like for example, like if I need to get married, and I know that getting married is very important, and I by having it in my mind, you know, I have to accomplish it, right?
Yeah.
But I bought something, but then I cannot do it. I cannot just be so desperate.
Yeah, I hear you saying. Yeah, I think you're saying something very similar. Meaning, the act of the mental place of always being pressured and always running puts us in a not good mood. It puts us not in a good state of mind.
Like for example, if someone is older and is single, and then you know that person needs to get married because time time runs.
Yeah.
Okay, so then on the one hand, time is running,
Yeah.
and on the other hand, you are desperate.
Yeah.
So that doesn't help you.
Right. Right.
Because to get married, you have to be
Relax. Yeah.
relaxed.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you cannot. It's a situation that you cannot rush.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think you're saying very and very nice. That
Mm.
I mean, that's really the story itself has this contradiction. On one hand, you have a person who's really he's really the prince, and he wants to find himself again. On the other hand, the message he's getting is stop running. Stop running after. Don't worry. Sometimes so after the story itself is describing something like what you're saying, of being able to hold on to both things at the same time. Yes, I need to get to where I need to get, and also yes, at the same time, not to be desperate, and not to run. Especially if the running doesn't make sense. That's particularly it, right? It's like sometimes the running doesn't make sense, and we just keep on running because that's the only thing we know how to do. Like this guy's lost in the forest. Doesn't make any sense to run after the animals. It's not going to get anywhere. So then it doesn't make sense. So stop.
He's running after his sins. Is he obsessed with his?
So what does it mean? He's running after his sins. I'm thinking.
He's obsessed with all the things.
It means he's feeling bad. He's feeling bad about himself, and in order to feel that he's fixing something, he just runs after something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it sort of makes him feel good in a certain way. He's running after the animals, but then the man's saying to him, like, listen,
You shouldn't run after them.
yeah, you're really running after your own sins. You're running after something you don't feel good about yourself, so you're running after something.
So then he should just stay in one place and let the animals run.
Yeah, let the animals go. Yeah, nothing will happen. What are you thinking?
So let the situation run. Okay, let the situation run and stay calm.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
I mean, that's I think one way to explain it. Yeah.
Yes.
So the other that he's going with that he's like I said before, he's obsessed with the sense of sin.
Yeah.
He wants to feel more and more sinful, so he's running after it.
That could be too.
This story was written by Rabbi Nachman.
Yeah, it's written by Rabbi Nachman. Yeah, and Rabbi Nachman told the stories with the understanding that he's telling a story, but there's really a hidden meaning to the story, and he's leaving it up to the readers to interpret it. He's sort of making you do the work. Telling you a story now. Think about it. So see what it means.
Sometimes we run after different things. We run after the boss.
Yeah.
We run after the club.
Yeah.
When the club goes,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
after time, we run after after so many things, and then at the end of the day, you see, why did I need to run so much?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Everything was done.
Right.
When you run, you don't have enough faith. Maybe.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to run for your life.
Right.
Like
You have a tiger running after you.
Yes, you have to run. But like I was in the hotel on Friday. There were so many people.
Yeah.
And the buses didn't come, and people wanted to take the taxis, and then I was, then like a bus came, like 3 parts, a long one, number 3, so I went in. Okay, I could have waited for number 1, but I was running. I wanted to get into it quicker.
Yeah.
If I went to number 1,
take you to the right place. Yeah.
It would take me to the right place.
Yeah.
Yes.
I understand.
Running is not good sometimes.
Yeah. Now, in the story, after he tells them to stop running, then he starts seeing all these amazing things in the forest, right? He starts seeing these crazy things, about the laughter. Laughter is some sort of very mythic type of a thing, and the animals singing songs for the moon. I'm not sure exactly what each one of these elements are, but I think it's clearly describing something very deep, meaning something deep inside the personality. Like, what does it mean that the day is laughing from the night? I mean, it's sort of like this dream type of stuff. It's like very wild, something very wild inside, and often that's the path to finding ourselves also. When it's like a Nachman says about talking about things and speaking out, and things we want to talk about, and sometimes all sorts of unexpected things come out. We're talking about writing. People do that very often with writing. Lots of people in the world have this thing of writing every day, just writing, and people often say, "Wow, all these things came out. I didn't know they were there. Like, I didn't even know I was thinking about that." And all types of crazy stuff comes out, and sometimes it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't matter, because it's something we have in our soul, which doesn't have to make sense. It just is, and often that's part of the path of getting forward. And when all of a sudden we're aware there's all sorts of strange and mysterious things inside of us, and it's part of our motivation, what we do, and it's like the imagery of here. It's in the forest, like it's deep in the forest, right? In this dark forest, and we ourselves also, we have a forest inside, and in regular life we don't live there. We live in civilization. We live in conscious thoughts, but often coming to where we need to go to be who we really need to be has to go through the forest. This wildness, all these crazy stories about the moon and the night and the day, which is similar to what Nachman will talk about this Torah about the music has to do with clarifying the good from the bad. You have all these things inside, we start clarifying one from the other. And but first you have to let it all come to the fore. What's going on? What's going on inside of the forest of my soul? And there's fear. There's not just fear, but not only fears. There's a song there also, like we sang, right? In the middle of this forest, there's to hear the animals singing. Right? But in the beginning, that happens. In the beginning, it was frightening, and then they start hearing the music. So.
So looking within,
yeah,
is frightening at first.
Frightening at first, but also sometimes we can find like power in there.
But we see all these crazy things inside of us, and we get afraid.
Yeah. I mean, I think you can see this. People like watching frightening films, right? Like. Why is that?
People like to get scared.
Right? So I mean, could be related to this. Meaning, people have this sense: if I get scared, and then something very deep is going on, and maybe I'll come to myself.
There's aliveness.
Aliveness, right? And it's all related because I don't know exactly how to explain this, but it seems to be something like that going on. You go into the forest, into the uncivilized parts of ourselves. And try to get energy from there. People who live totally in the mind usually don't have a lot of power. People are very, very, very rational. That you can look at them, you can see this person doesn't have power. He has a lot of
physical power.
No, like emotional power. Like you see people,
they break easily.
Yeah, or they can't. They're not forceful about things. They don't know where they're going. It's like it's like people say talking heads.
Philosophers,
exactly. Philosophers are like a sort of detachment from your sense of life. And you can talk a lot, but there's no energy to move forward. You just talk. Like the energy to move forward has to do when we're afraid, when we feel all these crazy stuff.
How do you get rid of all these rationalities?
Well, a part of it seems what you said before. First of all, it's stopping to run after things. But the running after things is also one of the things that we do to stop feeling.
But that's also on the one hand, but it also gives us a sense of aliveness too.
Yeah, but
Right.
but it's sort of instead of feeling alive because we are actually
Right.
alive, we feel alive because we're rushing, because
Right.
we're catching the bus.
It makes us go alive.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and drinking can make us go alive,
Right.
right?
Right.
So there's a kind of deadness within him, and he's seeking, to overcome this deadness, drinking, prostitutes,
Yeah.
running,
Yeah.
being frightened,
And then
all these
yeah.
things, all these negative things
Yeah.
that make him feel alive.
Yeah, and then he's told to, okay, relax. Then after he relaxes, he sees all these, wow, I have so much going on inside, I didn't even know. I didn't even know it was there.
So now the direction of his seeking aliveness changes.
Yeah. I think we'll stop over here. Well, maybe tomorrow we'll get to the end of the story where he leaves the forest. That's the end of the story, but I think it's very symbolic story.
And these are unlike any of the stories that the other Rebbes tell.
The Baal Shem Tov also told stories a little bit.
Weird stories like this.
A little bit. The Baal Shem stories, the meaning of the story is easier to understand. Nachman sort of took it to the extreme of telling mysterious stories that are hard to know what they mean.
More than other.
More than yeah. He said.
The stories I read are very simple stories.
Yeah. All right, so we'll take a break over here.
So, like rational, and by being rational is like if you are good in math.
Yeah.
Is that being rational?
Yeah.
Yes.
Being rational is good.
If you're a math teacher.
Yeah. Are you a math teacher?
No, I like math.
Yeah,
But
okay.
I'm a math teacher, right?
Yeah.
Is that being rational? That will stop you from moving forward?
Well, I don't think necessarily being rational will stop you, but if sometimes it can. Sometimes if a person has a lot of fear or desire inside, and they make believe that they don't, right? They say, no, I don't want anything. I'm just interested in math. So that's ignoring yourself and where you can get energy to do things.
So it's too much of that.
Yeah.
Too much rationality.
Too much rationality could be ignoring yourself. Ignoring the places you can get energy from. And I know some people who. I'm sure you know people like this. They can't. They don't even have the power of talking about themselves. They talk in third person. They say, like what did they say? Instead of saying, I feel bad about this, they say people feel bad about things like this. They turn it into a general statement. Because it's so hard for them to say I feel that way. It's like people don't turn it into philosophy. Instead of saying I feel insulted that a person spoke to me like this, they say people feel insulted when they're ignored by other people, right? It's like turning it into abstract. Yeah. But it's sort of just quieting down and saying, this is what's going on.
Rationality is like thinking too much about something. Right?
Well, there's different types of thinking. You can think about it in a positive way, and you can sort of help yourself, or you can think about it in a way that ignores. Meaning, if I'm in pain, let's say someone insulted me, right? And instead of saying I'm insulted, I start thinking about all the things that and sort of making believe I'm not insulted.
But thinking about things that don't exist.
No, let's say for example, someone walks in, someone is wearing a leather jacket, and it makes me feel bad. So instead of saying, wow, I feel bad, I start saying, people with leather jackets that are problematic. I start a whole theory about people. Instead of turning it into thoughts. Like instead of just saying, "Wow, that was uncomfortable," I say, "Oh, how can I turn this into a rational thought?" And it's not a rational thought. Feeling bad is just feeling bad. That's all it is. And we should let things be what they are. Then you can move on. If I never ever admitted that I felt bad, how can I move on? That's Thank you.